Yeah.
So where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to
Northwestern.
college? Nice.
Yeah.
In Chicago? Mm-hmm. I didn't know if there's another one. Is there another one?
No, there's Northeastern in Boston.
Okay. Northwestern. Nice. Why'd you want to go there? That's so far away. And cold.
It was cold because of the theater. I wanted a school that had both, like, for some reason, like rigorous academics and a great theater school. And that was kind of, to me, the best of both worlds. And I knew I wanted to come back to LA to like pursue film and television. So I was like, I want to try to live in a different city. And I applied to all state schools, and then there, NYU, Vassar. And I got into all three of them. But I had this like essentially this like guardian angel that I interviewed at Northwestern. We didn't get financial aid for any of them, and my parents were like, we can't afford to send you to a private school. But I interviewed with this woman who was like very convinced that I should go to Northwestern. She was in a like kind of a powerful alumnus, and I ended up getting an academic scholarship that like was, because I was like, I don't know if my parents can afford to send me there. I'll probably go to UC, and I ended up getting a scholarship that made Northwestern the exact same price as UC.
That's great.
So once I got that scholarship,
paid off.
Yeah, we were like, oh shit, I guess I actually can maybe go there. And
that's
then
great.
I did. Yeah.
Were you nervous at all to go so far away? I mean, that's a
little.
Trick.
I also had a long distance boyfriend who went to UC Santa Barbara with my high school sweetheart, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I don't want to go that far away. And my mom's like, you're going.
Babe, I'm going to miss you, babe.
Yeah, but I was really excited. Northwestern is such like a classic campus.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so beautiful. And I don't know. I was just excited to see something else.
I feel like I've had a lot of people on here that went to Northwestern.
It's a big school, entertainment industry school.
You didn't have to audition though, right? Because it's not.
No, you don't have to audition.
Conservatory or whatever.
Yeah, it's not a conservatory.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what sort of classes are you taking there?
I'm minored in sociology, so I took a lot of sociology classes, and but you take a lot of like. The way Northwestern works is for theater, freshman year, you have a lot of different various intro classes, and then you get placed in one of like 4 acting classes that you stay with for the remaining 3 years, and you go to that every day.
Based on what you're good at or what you choose?
I think they just place it based on like the style, like what they learn about you. They try to fit you with the teacher that is stylistically right, and I loved my acting teacher, so they were good at that. And it's cool because you develop like an intimacy with those. It's like 18 people in the class, and you're like very close, or maybe 20, and you're very close with them. And then you learn like, you know, there's like a quarter that's, they were in the quarter system, the quarter that's just all Shakespeare, and quarter that's just all Chekhov and the Greeks. And so you're kind of learning everything. And then simultaneously you do other classes. You had to do design classes, and but then there were like more academic theater classes. Like one of my favorite ones I remember was called Performing the American 50s. And you would read a bunch of 50s literature and then adapt it into scenes and perform it. So that was very cool. That's really it's a really good program.
Were you taking advantage of the improv scene at all in school?
No, I was terrified of improv.
Why?
In college. I don't know why.
You knew of it.
Yeah,
why terrified?
I don't know. I think it always intimidated me, and I just didn't think at that point. At that point, I wasn't really into comedy. I didn't really find the comedy scene until I graduated. I more thought of myself as like the serious actor, you know?
Oh, sure.
So I did a lot of like serious plays, and I did comedic plays too, but it was all plays.
Right.
And I think I didn't think of myself as a writer in college. Like I just didn't discover a lot of my potential until after college.
Interesting. How many shows were you doing a quarter?
You just do one.
And were you getting big audiences?
Well, it's just mostly like
other students.
But yeah, so there's like
doesn't matter.
Student theater and the like main stage shows that the professors would direct, and then there were like grad student shows. There are different like tiers of like the student theater was more like down and dirty, less of a budget, directed by students, and then the grad students, you had a little bit more of a budget, bigger theaters, and then the main stage was Main stage.
If you did take advantage of the Improv, were you going down to the city at all? I mean, it's a little bit of a hike. But...
Yeah, I would go down to the city. I would go to Second City in IO and see shows.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I would go. I just didn't. I don't know why. I think I always loved it, but I just was very intimidated by it. I don't know why.
It's funny when you look back at things, how and why you choose things you choose.
Yeah, and you kind of decide, at 18, you're like, I know who I am. Yeah. I know what I'm about. Like, I am a very serious Shakespearean actor, and that's how I'm going to make my money. Like, what?
We're such confident fucks.
Oh, God.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, I was also very sure I was going to marry my high school boyfriend. I had a lot of certainties. They all came true.
So when you graduated, your major was theater, and then you had the sociology minor. Is that what it was? Did you come right back to LA?
Yeah.
Okay. You just knew that's what you wanted. TV and film was out here.
Yeah, I knew that's what I wanted. I lived at home for a year to save money, so I had that as,
After school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I lived at home for a year and worked at a film company / magazine part-time, and then was waitressing part-time.
What were you doing at the film company?
I was an assistant / receptionist. It was a startup, so I was kind of...
To like a producer or...
To development executives.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Reason Pictures, which is no longer, but Good Magazine is still around.
Did you learn anything from that? Good learning ground?
I read a lot of scripts, so that it was all very young people that were working in that company. It says this company, Good Magazine, founded by this guy Ben Goldhirsch, who it had just started like the year before I got out here, and he was 27, and his parents had passed away, but both of his parents, and he inherited this $100 million trust. So it's kind of this crazy story. And then he started this company called Good Magazine, which was about like doing good, but also doing, people who want to do good for themselves and for others, and that sort of vibe.
Oh, that's cool.
Very like design oriented, and he just hired a bunch of his friends, and so it was a lot of people that were like, I was 21 and they were 27. I'm like, right. They're so old.
They're so cool.
They're so cool.
Super key.
And really, what it did for me was like I made a lot of friends, and and like a lot of relationships that are still around.
So when did you realize you wanted to do comedy? When you got back out here, are you auditioning and stuff?
I was auditioning. I had an agent it was the one I had in high school. So I was going out sometimes, and I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm an actor.
So did like the auditions you go to turn you into comedy, or did you start taking classes?
No, I started taking classes. So the way it went is kind of circuitous, where the first year I was just like going to Steppenwolf West acting class and like working a lot. And at day jobs, but it was day jobs that would or not the waitressing job, but the part-time job at Good, they would let me leave for auditions.
That's great.
And that was like, I was just always looking for jobs that would let me leave for auditions.
That's great.
And
you got to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it. And so I spent a year doing that, and then I just got really like antsy. Oh God, beer.
There's water there if you need it.
Yeah.
If it helps. A lot of people come in here and they drink beer and then they get burpy.
Yeah.
Hiccupy.
Yeah. Cool. That sounds great.
See, me, I'm such a veteran drinker. At this point, it's just like, what am I even doing? I need at least 6 before I get burpy. You know what? Why don't you go to Pepperdine?
You know what?
Pepperdine is... I'm vamping right now. Is it really?
Yeah, it's super Christian
Pepperdine
and very expensive.
Yeah, but it's the most gorgeous campus ever. I guess you grew up there.
But I grew up there, so I was like, nah.
I've always thought about this idea of, I'm never going to have kids, but if I did, I would send them to Pepperdine so I could just vacation there.
Yeah.
Oh, Pepperdine's lovely. People don't even know about it, I feel like. It's like a nice little secret.
Yeah, well,
that's
where we used to perform. My ballet performances was at the Pepperdine campus at the theater. And when the other thing that I did when I was a kid, which was like it was like my biggest dream, was when I was 10. They had like open call auditions for the college's production of The Sound of Music for the kids. And I got cast as Marta.
That's
amazing. And I got to do like 6 weeks of a show.
That's incredible.
Which was it was like, it felt like a dream come true. Like
That's
it was, because it was
incredible.
just like with college kids, and I was 10, and it was just like in love with all the boys. And it was just very, very silly and fun. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I think just in my nature, because I've always been like a student and someone that likes to work all the time, that I got really bored just waiting for auditions.
Yeah.
And then I, with a friend, wrote a web series, and we made it. And this was in 2008. And so we were... like, we didn't know what we were doing. I was not a good writer. And we just wrote like 4 episodes of a web series called Let's Get Laid. It was like pre-girls, but kind of like girls just in LA trying to have sex and have fun and whatever, you know? And we did that. And then I like realized how much I loved being a part of creating things. And then I started doing...
And you made that clearly as a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and then from there, I was like, I want to start taking comedy classes. Like, and then I did one at Groundlings, didn't really love it, and then did UCB 101 and really liked that. And then UCB 101, I met a group of people that became my sketch team, where I like independent sketch team, and I made videos with them for like 5 years.
Oh, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. This was pretty early UCB then too, right?
Yeah,
UCB
this
LA.
was 2010.
Okay, so they came here in like 07, 06?
Yeah, so it was still like, it was already a thing. I didn't really like, again, improv has never been my strong suit, at least in on stage improv. I love doing it on camera, like when I have a character and a premise and we know where the scene is going.
Right.
Like I like riffing, but on stage when someone's like banana, I'm like, I don't know. I like a script.
We
you know?
see a scene full of monkeys.
Oh my God. I gotta jump in here and do something.
Yeah, I can.
So I was never really pursuing being on a Herald team.
Right.
But through UCB, I met this great group of people.
That's really cool.
We made like probably like 30 videos together. Maybe more. And
Wow.
It was really fun. And it was just a way of like, that was kind of the way I feel like I cut my teeth, was like making things every weekend and learning the process of making things and not being intimidated by it, you know?
Well, that's the thing. It's like you can get exhausted just sitting around waiting for the next audition, next email, next phone call. And it's like, why not make your own content?
Yeah.
It's like what I told you with this podcast. It was like one of those things where it's like, why not make my own thing that I can point to, and I have a deadline. I have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And you just never know what's going to come of it, you know?
Yeah.
And
there's no downside.
Yeah, totally. I think the main thing that holds people back is like this fear that something isn't going to be good. And I think people just need to let go of that. And as soon as you let go of that and you don't care.
If it's not good, nobody's going to see it. That's how I've always thought.
That's the thing. It's like no one's going to see it. It doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter.
Who cares?
And if it's good, then great.
At the worst, you learn something.
Yeah.
At the best, you blow up and become famous.
Yep. And everything in between.
So then, is that how Wednesday Addams came about? Adult Wednesday Addams?
Yeah, well, basically,
because that's probably what you're most known for.
Yeah, that was like the turning point, I would say. Once I made that, was like when professionally I was able to like build a career.
Yeah.
And I think what happened was like I learned so much about writing and performing and making things with my sketch group, and we made a couple things that ended up like a few things went super viral, but it was like never. We got press, but it was never enough. Like as a sketch team, as a unit, it's very hard and rare for a sketch team to like get a TV show. It's like you can name like 3.
One, Birthday Boys.
Birthday Boys, The State. Like, you know, it's like John, what is the one with Paul Scheer and
Aziz?
Human Giant.
Human Giant.
You know, yeah, there's like 5 of them ever. So I realized like and I think I always used other people as like this safety net of like I can write with other people, and that feels like a little less scary. And then I was like, no, I really want to make something that's just my own, that I write and I star in and I produce.